When you think of Sony, you think of entertainment in India. They've been leaders for what, 30 years now. But a lot has changed since the time they first came to India. Now, when we're looking at in the future as well, the person who's leading the company, Gaurav Banerjee, been here for 6 months. What his strategies are for the future is something that we're going to discuss on this very special conversation. Thank you, Gaurav, for joining in.
Thank you for coming here and talking to me. Thanks a lot.
6 months at Sony, right? I mean, before that, you've had a stellar career and also known as the content king. So let me just, start by asking you, when you joined, what were your thoughts about Sony? And 6 months in, what are your thoughts? What do you think about the future here?
So obviously, I was really excited to walk into this office 6 months ago. This was the first time that I was stepping into the offices here or any Sony office. And I was excited because this company has meant so much to Indian consumers for so many years. And it's such an amazing global brand. And of course, personally for me, when you enter the corporate world, when you enter the media world, you hope one day, you aspire to hopefully have an opportunity to lead a team, to lead a company. So this company gave me that opportunity. So I have been excited from that day. It has been a great last 6 months. Very, very excited with what the team has been able to achieve in such a short time. But also, of course, very excited about the plans that we have for the future.
Give me specifics. When you joined here, what were you looking at? And, in the last 6 months, what have your initial thoughts been?
So I think, when I came in here, one of the big ideas that I was wanting to work on is the content philosophy here. And you called me the content king. I am certainly not that, but I am a student of content. And I'm very proud of the fact that I actually went to a film school and spent my entire life thinking about stories and making shows. As you know, you and I were talking just now. I spent 7 years working in news channels where I used to anchor, not as well as you do, but so I used to produce shows. I have done many of the jobs that you do growing up and sort of building a career from the first level in. And therefore, what I wanted this company to be known for is its creativity, its content, the selections that we do. And I was hopeful that in the first 6 months, we would be able to have something to show for it, saying, what does this really mean? And therefore, one of the big things that was sort of hurting us as a company is that our flagship channel, SET, had not been doing that well.
Exactly.
Right? It had had an indifferent last 3 years. And therefore, I wanted to ideally work with the team to figure out how do we stop that decline and hopefully turn it around.
What were the things that you did? What were the decisions of the last 6 months?
So the first decision was, we felt that Sony had a very distinct, unique identity, right? It was known for a particular kind of shows. And some of that identity had got diluted. And there was a lot of programming there which I felt was indifferent, but much more than that, it was kind of not differentiated. And we sort of said, okay, that's not for us. We're going to clean that out. And we're going to go back to reiterate the original iconic positioning of SET.
Which is what?
So that is a lot of content that is not your regular daily soap kind of content. So this is content that men and women can watch together. And it is also about a lot of iconic IPs that have got created. So one of the first shows that we chose to launch is a show that we brought back after 6 years, CID. Right now, it's a great brand. It's an amazing franchise that has existed for over 2 decades. And the new season, when it launched, was the best fiction show launch on the channel in the last 6-7 years. Right? So the other thing that we have done is really polish the existing brands that were with us. So we did an amazing launch for Indian Idol.
Got it.
Right? And the ratings of that show are some 30% higher than the previous season. So a bunch of these things have meant that the channel, which was roughly in the early 50s in July, is doing in the late 80s today. So we have seen almost a 70% increase in ratings. So I was keen that we get behind distinguished brands and show some results which are kind of in the public domain. And therefore, people inside this building believe that, okay, we can work really hard, we can work in a Sony way, and we can establish some good wins
What is
in
the
the
Sony way?
marketplace. We have to be very focused on our brand. We have to be building our IP, right? And we have to be doing things which are different from what others are doing. And we must believe in quality. So I think those 3-4 very simple principles is what we have tried to do across a range of brands now. So, and we've seen some great results on SET. I spoke about CID and Idol. On Sony Sub, our other really big GEC, we have had a great launch to Tenali Rama, which is the best fiction show that Sony Sub has launched in the last 6 years. And therefore, that channel has also grown. On Sony Live, we decided to make Shark Tank, which is one of our most successful shows, exclusive to Live Alone. And that has also seen a big jump in viewership, particularly from smaller cities and on connected TVs. So I think across our big content channels on TV and digital, we've taken a few focused bets on some really great iconic brands and really look to grow their viewership in a big substantive way, in a way where the data and the consumer love speaks for itself. Right? So it is, you asked me for specifics. I've thrown a lot of data at you.
You've thrown a lot of data at me. You've given me a lot of specifics. What we'll do is we'll speak about television, we'll speak about Sony Live, we'll speak about your strategy for Sub, we'll speak about sport, something that you love as well, cricket in particular. So this was a good appetizer, so to say, for the main course. Let's go across and let's sit in what I'm told is an auditorium in your office, and then we go ahead and have that conversation.
Sounds good. Come.
All right, I'll follow you.
Okay.